Today I updated the EEVEE Express add-on, and that was because I've seen quite an interesting tutorial. Yes, from Underprice. I placed already a comment here that I didn't have much time, but that I appreciated the video. And this one was about how to get softer shadows, to get it the proper way. And I must say, I had to adjust some settings, and indeed, we got much better shadows in EEVEE Express. So a quick overview of the EEVEE Express. First, what did I change? I made some setups. So normally we had to go in here, add the scene, and then we add a backdrop, add some spot trigs, add smoke, compositor nodes. But we can do it all in one go. We can click one of these setups and we'll place everything in the scene. And that is then a backdrop, 2 light rigs, a reflection probe, a radiance volume, and it will change render settings. So like a screen space reflections, indirect lighting, and for each light it has the proper settings. You can also get the proper settings by pressing here render settings, this one or that one. They're slightly different from each other recommendations I found on the internet. So sometimes one works better or the other one. You can check that out. So it's a matter of pressing one button. Then we have already here everything in the scene, so I don't have to add these things. So I can close this one. And then, yeah, you will see a lot of settings, and even more settings will come if you, for example, add the global shader. Then another panel will show up with the settings for the global shader. So these are all the settings. Yeah, quite some. But I will quickly go over these spot rig controls. Spot rig control, that's the biggest one. And that one you will use for the ambient light or the softer global lighting. Then you have 3 kinds of selections, because this one, get the parent, you can grab it and move then all the lights. Or you can, if these lights were a spot, then you can grab this one. And these are spots. If I turn off that one, go in front view, go back to spot. Scale, set. Now you can see it better, that these are spots. All right. Now we have some color presets. I picked those from HDRIs, so you can click that one, and then each light will have another color and another value. Then we have another spot rig. I will turn that on, turn this off, so we see another one. This is the 3-point light. The same for this one. We can grab it like that. Select both or only the focus. And these are area lights. The reason I choose for point lights for this one, for the spot rig control, because these will light up the scene and also the cube for indirect baking. So the light will reflect here, and this one gives indirect light. If these were area lights, then they will not shine to the cube for indirect baking. And the cube for indirect baking, we can find it here. Show texture. If we go to this view, then we can go here and we can choose a color. Now, for example, as reference, let's say concrete. Concrete is maybe something like concrete is something like this. This albedo value is quite fresh concrete. But if your environment, you can choose a texture or a color, for example. So if you choose for a bluish, I give now a bright color so you can see it better. If you bake indirect, then you should see a bluish indirect light. Maybe you can see it when you go inside here. We choose now for red. Bake indirect light. And now you see a reddish indirect light. Then I go back here, just for a wire, so I can see everything. Next, so we had a 3-point light. I turn this off. So I have 3-point light here. We can also choose each light separately, and then we can play with the energy, the color, and the size. If we press grab, set, we can move the light like that. If we press G and then Z, we move the light like that. And that's very handy. So if we press the focus, then you see the direction of the area lights will change. So those were the two controls for the lights. And this is for the smoke. If you don't have smoke in the scene, you can here add smoke, and then this will pop up. When you change the light before you render, you always have to bake indirect light, and then you see here two render settings. You can see here that they are affected, these settings like this. They are slightly different, also for ambient occlusion. Those are recommendations are found on the internet. So one might work better for your scene or the other one. Then we have here the color management. Can play with that one. Etc. No. And exposure. Camera settings very handy because sometimes you're looking for that and yeah, that's such a hassle. So you have it here in one go. So then you can do that, for example. The focal length, also here. You can add depth of field, shift, right click, and then you add depth of field. It will place an empty. We have it already here. Select it. If you turn this down, the f-stop, then we'll get the depth of field. Then the documentation. That's the documentation you find here. If you click that, a browser will open with this. I believe search doesn't work that properly, so you have to look around here. So you can find most settings except this one. So this is then the spot rig. That's the biggest light rig. You can also select each light separately and play with that. So press here. We don't see it now because go there and then I go here. If I turn this off, then I go down. Now I can see it better. So free light control back. This is a little bit faster. The smoke, yeah, smoke. Whoops. Like that. Did I show you the indirect cube? Yes, I believe. So then the last one is at the scene at compositor nodes. Then we render it out. Then we go here, UV editor, we go to the compositor. Then if you press Ctrl A, you find some node groups. You see now they're double because I pressed before already that one. Scroll down, color management this time. What I like to do is I like to put this below 80. or even less, and bump it up in another program where I play with the levels. That way, Filmic doesn't compress the highlights. So, but this is already nice, quite nice, I think. A little bit too much contrast, maybe. So maybe I put none. All right, I believe I showed you everything. So I showed you the presets. You will get the presets, or more in the future. And then I believe I showed all the settings. Let me see. Oh yeah, the global shader, but the global shader actually was a separate add-on. I included that, but that needs another video. All right, thank you for watching, and see you at the next update.